Hunter Biden came out swinging during his closed-door testimony to House Republicans this week. The president's son targeted the Trump family's crazy nepotism issue. According to the transcripts, Hunter had thanked God not to be a member of the family that would do something crazy, like install a daughter-in-law as a chairperson of their political party. That, of course, refers to, I believe, Laura Trump looking to take over the RNC and then direct it to pay her dad's legal bills. Yeah, that's what's going on. He also testified that his father never operated a hotel catering to foreign nationals during his White House tenure, employed family members to work in the Oval Office, or received a $355 million fine from his home state. All hilarious pot shots. You gotta love it. In fact, Biden testified that, quote, "No, he has not, thank God. And I don't think that anyone in my family would be crazy enough to want to be chairperson of the DNC." Biden was responding to questions from Representative Eric Swalwell, who's a Democrat from California. He was actually able to sit in the meeting because he's part of the committee, and he had actually started the hearing off by asking Representative James Comer, who did not ask Hunter Biden any questions, interestingly enough, when the deposition transcript would be released. It was released on Thursday, and we get some hilarious highlights of this. For example, this line of questioning from Eric Swalwell was pretty great. He asked, "President Joe Biden has never operated a hotel where foreign nationals spent millions at that hotel while he was in office." Hunter replied, "No, he has not. While your father was president, anyone in the family received 41 trademarks from China," in reference to Trump's daughter, Ivanka, of course, in her business dealings, sitting in meetings with Chinese President Xi, and getting these special business deals. Hunter, of course, responded with no, which then led him to wrap up the inquiry with, "That's all I got." Yes, very important questions, good questions, and really illustrative of, the corruption, right? The corruption in the previous administration versus the appearance of corruption that Republicans keep pointing at, but actually don't have any evidence of in this administration. Weird. Again, you want to talk about corruption, the Trump family is nothing but corrupt and used the office of presidency to enrich themselves. Trump to enrich himself and to enrich his family. There's a ton of evidence for it. You don't have any evidence of the Biden family doing the same thing. Now, Hunter had also clapped back at Representative Matt Gaetz, who questioned Biden about serving on the board of Burisma. Gaetz wanted to know if Biden, a recovering addict, was on drugs while he was on the board. Biden responded with, quote, "Mr. Gaetz, look me in the eye. You really think that's appropriate to ask me?" After Gaetz said it was absolutely was, Biden hit back, saying, "Of all the people sitting around this table, do you think that's appropriate to ask me?" Well, why wouldn't it be, right? It's a legitimate question, right? Maybe it's because Matt Gaetz is facing his own issues with an ethics investigation involving sex crimes and drug abuse. Yes. Perhaps a little bit of
sexual anarchy
thrown in. And potential child trafficking. One of those things. Yeah. Wow. Ethics investigation. Very interesting to see how that lands. Okay. And what happens to Matt Gaetz after that. But nonetheless, Gaetz proceeded with his questioning. And Gaetz replied, "Yes, this is appropriate. Are you going to answer it?" To which Biden did. He said, "I will answer it this way. I've been absolutely transparent about my drug use. I'm sorry, I'm an addict. I was an addict. I've been in recovery for over 4.5 years now. Mr. Gaetz, I work really, really hard at it." Now, look, what's interesting here is when he says, "I'm an addict," it's true. When you're an addict, you are always in recovery, okay? Which means you're still an addict. It's still always going to be there, the desire to use, right? So you're constantly working at it and fighting against the addiction, because even when you're recovered, it doesn't go away. Okay, and anybody who's known an addict, anybody who's studied it, knows that that's the case. Okay, that's why they say I'm a recovering addict. There's never a recovered addict. You're always recovering. And so it's just, I wanted to address that language there and explain how that is, because again, you're going to have people that are going to misconstrue that and see that, oh, see, he's still an addict. He's still on drugs. You see? No. In fact, he says, quote, I work really hard at it, under an enormous amount of pressure. Was I an addict? Yes, I was an addict. What does it have to do with whether or not you're going to go forward with an impeachment of my father, other than to simply try to embarrass me? So, look, he's right about the reasoning for that question. Yes, he's using it to try to hurt his father politically, Biden's father politically. That's it. That's all they've ever wanted to do, these Republicans. That's the whole reason for this impeachment. They went through with this impeachment inquiry not because they had evidence of corruption, but because they were fishing for it. It is a fishing expedition. It is a witch hunt. That's what it's always been. And any of the so-called evidence that they've turned up, that they hype, isn't actually real evidence of corruption at all. Not any evidence that Joe Biden has benefited monetarily from the businesses of Hunter Biden. And there's no evidence of this influence peddling scheme that they claim, these so-called foreign bribes that they can't seem to prove. Look, this has never been about getting to the truth. It's never been about rooting out any corruption or holding anybody accountable. It's just the lowest kind of low political hatchet job that happened to, focus on a man who had issues and has issues, but who's never been in office, never run for office, and is a private citizen who just happens to have the last name of a president you don't like.